we have a new Intercontinental Champion, and it's something that we really need to talk about and discuss. As I'm sure you are all aware of, Braun Breaker defeated Jey Uso, taking back the Intercontinental Championship on the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw. And this sent the IWC into a whirlwind of emotions. And while I think the majority of people do not like the decision and don't understand why, I think that there still may be some overreactions to all of this. Before I get too far ahead in the video, let me clarify this. I really am not a huge fan of the decision. I love Braun Breaker, but it just felt really weird and kind of rushed in a way. So in this video, we're basically just gonna cover what this means and what it could mean for the upcoming War Games PLE that looks like it's going to be the Bloodline 2.0 taking on the OG Bloodline. So to answer the question of do I think people are overreacting over the decision, yes, I do. While yes, I am upset by the decision, I do, at the end of the day, see from a certain point of view why they made the decision they did, and I still do think that there are some people who are overreacting. And let me clarify by this, in no way, shape, or form am I trying to throw somebody under the bus. If you are the biggest Jey Uso fan in the entire fandom of WWE, and you have a very strong opinion over this, good on you. I'm glad you do, and it's something that should be important in all of this is that these are all opinions that people have at the end of the day, and regardless of what some people may think, you are still allowed to have an opinion nowadays. So while I say that people are overreacting, I hope I'm not coming off in any certain way. This is just my opinion. So let me start by saying this first off. I don't think that Jay was meant to have the Intercontinental Championship for very long. And the reason I say this is because he won it on a random episode of Monday Night Raw and was kind of out of the blue in a way. It felt really random, and even then, people were happy, but it was just kind of really random and just kind of thrown out there. Had this had happened at a WWE PLE, then I would be a little more upset about it. But again, Jay winning out of nowhere on a random episode of Monday Night Raw really just makes me think that he was never intended on being champion for a long time. Maybe this was WWE's way of testing Jey Uso, making sure that he can hold a singles championship. Let's not forget, Jey Uso has only won tag team titles throughout his WWE career. This was his first singles championship, so I don't necessarily blame WWE for kind of testing the waters a little bit because we've never seen Jey Uso with a singles championship. It's always been a tag team championship. Very, very often do we see WWE throw a championship on somebody simply to make sure that they are capable of carrying a championship. The other thing that I really thought about was this is going to make Jey Uso even bigger of a star. Let's not forget the whole WrestleMania main event from WrestleMania 40 happened because fans were mad that Cody Rhodes wasn't going to get his shot. Kind of a similar situation where fans are mad that Jey Uso is not the Intercontinental Champion anymore, so maybe this is WWE trying to make Jey Uso an even bigger superstar than what he is. And I think that WWE realizes that Jey Uso right now is still going to be one of the most over, one of the most popular WWE superstars in the company right now. Regardless of a loss to Braun Breaker, which in no way, shape, or form does that make Jay look bad, and you also have to throw in the fact that the Bloodline 2.0 was there and interfering in the match. Regardless if Solo Sikoa bought the tickets or not, they still interfered in the match, so you can't really fault Jey Uso for losing the match. So in no way, shape, or form did they make Jay look bad in the match. and in no way, shape, or form did they bury him. However, I do think that out of all of this, it's going to make Jay a massive superstar, even more than he already is. The other thing to look at is the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is the Bloodline storyline and it building for War Games. The decision to have Jey Uso lose the IC title to Braun Breaker really pushes the Bloodline storyline ahead, because now, with the Bloodline 2.0 interfering in the match, it gives Jay a reason to possibly join the OG Bloodline. However, I do think they could have gone a different way of doing it, because I talked about it in a previous video that I think it would mean more if the Bloodline 2.0 interferes in the match and Jimmy Uso or Roman Reigns or both of them comes out saving the championship for Jay, and that would have been enough to persuade Jay to get back on the OG Bloodline side. Again, I think that just would have been more impactful, and I was really thinking that we were going to get it. So, while yes, it does push the Bloodline storyline ahead, I just was not a fan of how they did it. I really would have had Jimmy or Roman come out and save the championship for Jey Uso. But let's not forget, this is the Bloodline storyline, and once we think that we have an idea of where we're going with the Bloodline storyline, they often take us in a completely different direction, and I think this is just another scenario in what has been one of the most insane stories in WWE history. So again, it may not be the way we wanted Jay to get back on the OG Bloodline side, but at the end of the day, that's looking like what we're going to get. And again, this gives Jay a reason to join the OG Bloodline again, because now he has a reason to want to go after the Bloodline 2.0, because they cost him the match in the IC title. And again, I understand that they still could have done this and still had Jay retain the championship. So maybe WWE just, for whatever reason, didn't want Jay walking into War Games with the championship, because none of the other Bloodline members have a championship right now. I don't really know. I don't have an answer to that, obviously. This is just pure speculation and my thoughts and opinions on this. So, I think I already know what you guys think about the decision to have Braun Breaker defeat Jey Uso for the IC title, but let me know down below in the comments, are you a fan of the decision? Are you not a fan of the decision? And tell me why, and also tell me what you think could happen next for Jey Uso as we progress through War Games and beyond. Do you think he could go back after the IC title? Do you think he could go after the World Heavyweight Championship? Do you possibly see him as a Royal Rumble winner? That's something that's coming up. But again, as always, let me know all that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. The Linktree link will take you to all of the social medias for this channel. I highly suggest going and checking out our X page. Over on X, we do updates on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and all of the PLEs. And overall, I want that to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. So if you are like me and you want to talk wrestling with wrestling fans, then swing by the Crown Jewel updates over on X. Join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. With all that being said and out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. It will really help out the channel a lot. As always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.